are you all? Thanks so much for coming today. I'm really excited to share about my small business with you folks, give you any insight, ask any questions, please feel free. But yeah, so without further ado, my small business is Made by Lexee, and I make real Hawaii flower resin jewelry. I'm not sure if you folks maybe have seen it on Instagram or whatnot, but all real local flowers that I grow, pick, preserve, and emboss in wearable resin. So first, just a little more backstory about me before we get into more of my business. But my name is Lexee. I'm born and raised here on Oahu. I'm 23 years old. This is my mom and dad. Here's my dad actually today. My mom's Filipino, Hawaiian, Chinese. My dad's German, Irish, so kind of just a Hapa Hawaiian mix. I graduated from Mid-Pacific, so right here in Manoa, 2020. And then I also graduated recently from the University of Las Vegas in May of 2024. And I got a bachelor's in business management as well as fine arts and dance. So I was a double major. And so my first glimpse into entrepreneurship. So my dad is a business owner himself, and he does construction here. He kind of started his company too. When he was around 20 years old, he started construction here in Hawaii. And so everything I learned growing up, I kind of learned from him as a young age. I was always the eager kid who would go with him to work, or if I played hooky from school, it was to go with him to the job site. And I was always fascinated with how he would just be a leader and a boss and kind of directed everyone. So I picked up those skills, or was very tentative about it from him at a young age. And yeah, so it was kind of bring your daughter to work day a lot, because I just was intrigued by it. And I just enjoyed kind of seeing my dad be in that leadership boss, role. And it was something that was cool. I also did a lot of arts and crafts as a kid. So I was always painting, loved making jewelry with my mom and sister. I was always painting and doing canvas arts. My mom loves to sew, so we would always sew, and we would always be we're gonna make a bikini business, or make clothes and have a business. That was just something we always were doing for fun. And I was making beaded craft jewelry as well a lot. And I also danced for my whole life. So from 3 years old up until college, I danced. So just very artsy and loved anything arts. So flash forward to May 2021. So this is in the midst of COVID. Everyone was at home, things were shut down. I was in college at the time, but I would come home for summer. And I didn't have I wasn't working, but I thought I needed something to do. So I kind of created a fun summer business. I wanted to kind of incorporate my art in a way to sell it or to create a business. But so I came up with totes. I did hand-painted totes. I found cute little trendy designs that I would draw on totes. And yeah, they were hand-painted. I sold them for about, hi, welcome in. I sold them for about $20. So this was just for fun. It was nothing serious, right? I bought these totes. They were $6 on Amazon or something. And I hand-painted them. I completely ran this on Instagram and sold through DM. So it wasn't super, I didn't have a website. It was nothing fancy, right? I was I'll just sell it on DM, kind of casual. But just, the concept of having a business and selling something was in my mind. And I shipped to the US, and one tote took 5 hours to paint. So it was in no way it was very laborious, and it was more so for fun. It wasn't really, looking back, it wasn't a business adventure thing. It was just because it was fun and enjoyable. And I thought, why not try and sell it? So over the 4 summers, I probably sold no more than 20 totes. It was in the business sense, it wasn't successful at all, but it was just fun, and it inspired me to have a business in that way. So then post-college planning, it was May 2024 last year, about April, couple months leading up into May and graduation. I was okay, I have to start thinking about what I'm gonna do. Now it's time to get the ball rolling. So I changed my Instagram to Made by Lexee, because at that time I was I'm gonna sell all things arts and crafts. I'm gonna make pottery, I'm gonna make jewelry. And I really wasn't I've never made pottery before, but I was I can learn, and I'm gonna sell it. And I wanted to sew and make clothes, and I've never really sewed that on a sewing machine, but I was I'm gonna learn. I just wanted to have a business that I sold things that were artistic, that I made. So I was trying to find niche things to make. I was brainstorming, And I really wanted something like different and unique, because a lot of people here, they make a bikini company, right? Or they make shell jewelry, which is super awesome and really cool, but I wanted something super unique and different. And at this time too, I'm also still thinking like of pursuing more of a career in a sense. So I was considering real estate, and I was considering maybe like teaching or going the education route. So I was, while simultaneously thinking maybe I'll try a business as well. But then I stumbled upon this trend on Instagram and TikTok, and it was real flower jewelry. I'm not sure if that was like something on your guys' For You page too, but I just saw in the mainland there was like somewhere in like the Pacific Northwest, they would take like ferns and daisies and they preserved it and resined them, and they made jewelry out of it. So once I discovered this new concept, like immediately it was like a light bulb in my head. I was like, this is my idea. This is like the new unique idea that I was waiting to find. And this is after like weeks and weeks and weeks of trying to find something creative and different. So I immediately thought, how is this not a thing in Hawaii yet? And how beautiful and smart would it be to create this concept in Hawaii? It was something I've never seen. And like in Hawaii, we have all these beautiful, vibrant flowers, like local and native flowers, and it's year-round as well. So I was like, how has no one like utilized this yet and turned flowers or preserved them into jewelry? It just wasn't a thing really. So I started to research like crazy. I started learning how to do it. I like bought everything to do it. I like shipped it home. I was still like in the mainland. I was still like in school or just graduated. And I like already knew exactly how to do it. I just was like waiting to come home and like create it. And at this point, I already like decided I was gonna come home and try like the business route for a little bit. So I knew I was coming home. And this was also something like, not only was it a genius idea that was like the unique business I wanted to create, but it also was really significant to me and important to me. I grew up picking flowers. I always like made lei with my mom and my aunties and whatnot, whether it was for like lei making or hula, for family and friends, like graduation, we made lei all the time, right? So it was a labor of love. It was something that I was interested and passionate about. And it was something that I can share from my culture in my own creative way. So it was taking something that was already something really familiar to me and important to me, and like incorporating it into something that could be a business and something different. So this was like kind of the beginning of Made by Lexee. I committed to this niche, which is real Hawaii flower resin jewelry. And I experimented from May 15th to July 1st. So it was extremely quick. Like I found this idea mid-May. I moved home like, we'll say like May 20th. And like the next day I was like experimenting and making jewelry. I also knew I had to work really fast because it was summer at the time. So it's kind of like I wanted it to get it out there quick. I also wanted, like I was super determined. So I only wanted to give myself like maybe 6 months of experimenting and, like try out this business. So I wanted to get it started immediately. So I prepped from May 15th to July 1st, creating product. I invested probably no more than like $800 to $1,000, and like on the low end, like I think it was like on the low end, like at least like 800, if anything, which for business is not a lot. Like sometimes it takes thousands and thousands of dollars to invest into a business. So for me, I didn't put that much money into it. I also created and designed a Shopify website entirely on my own. At MidPac, we did a lot of graphic designing and like website designing, so I was familiar with it. And again, I like loved doing arts and crafts, so it was something that I was intrigued by, and I knew I was able to do it. So I kind of just did it for fun. And it was honestly one of my favorite parts about the business was making the website. And I knew I wanted a website of my own. Like some people sell on Etsy. There's different ways and avenues to for retail, but I knew I wanted a website of my own because I wanted to establish it like really legit from the start. I wanted to do it like 110% and just create the website, get my domain. So I got my domain, started posting on Instagram like crazy, and then the other step for the business was creating my like your sole proprietorship or your LLC or DBA, whatever it be. So I did that, which is really essential for like if you're wanting to sell things in Hawaii, you need your like GE license. So then I launched my website. This is July 1st, and like business officially began on July 1st. I'm gonna try and Perfect. I'll take you to my website. I'll just scroll for it like really quick. You guys can always look on your own. But this is the website from like the very beginning. It hasn't, I mean, I've changed photos and updated some things, but for the most part, this is how it was from the start, which is really nice that I like committed to the website from the very beginning so that it's, it's what I'm still using right now. And it's really key in my business because it comes off as it's really professional, and people refer to the website and they're like, wow, it's really legit. And I'm definitely really proud of it. So if you guys ever want to check that out. And then, okay, there. So yeah, now business is up and running, and my main thing is just trend setting and popularizing real flower jewelry in Hawaii. Business immediately began. Like, I was consistent on socials every day because I really wanted to grow a community, get my product out there. It was also really new and different. Like, people haven't seen it before. A lot of people, they see it still and they think it's glass. So I really wanted to like get it out there that it's like real flower jewelry. I also wanted to work kind of quick because I didn't want my idea to like start to get like replicated or copied. Like, I really wanted to get my foot out there and like established. Because if you have a good product, sometimes that happens, and I know that. So I was working really quick with that and growing followers, a community, whatnot. And I was getting orders within like my first week as well. And I think it's because I was really, really adamant about posting all the time. I was trying to like make content and post it out there. So I got legitimate customers. And those I was getting orders from family and friends, of course, but like the first week I got like legit orders from the mainland. So that was really cool and made it feel like, okay, this is legit. Like, people are buying my products. I also applied to markets and pop-ups so I could sell in person because I wanted to go that route. There's a lot of amazing like farmers markets and makers markets here. So I knew that's kind of the route I wanted to go, take my product out, get people like to see it in person and try it on. So yeah, I had weekly pop-ups. And then my first ever pop-up was on July 13th, 13 days into business. So it was really soon. I had prepped a lot going into it. So when I started business, I already had product. It's not like I was like, I already knew I had product. It was just a matter of getting orders and everything. And so I was ready for it. I had about like 15 pairs of earrings and necklaces for the first market, which at the time was a lot. Like, that was like my month, like I was stocking up. That was my stock up of inventory. But I sold probably like almost every necklace I brought. So at the end of the market, I realized, I was like, okay, it almost felt, I was like, okay, this is legit now. Like, business is real. I saw potential in it. And I knew like people were interested in it and wanted my product. So I started continuing what I was doing and growing business over the year. I got a consistent pop-up schedule. So now I do about 4 to 8 a month. So from then in July, I got all my markets in a schedule and started being consistent with that, posting and reposting on Instagram daily. So I try to be as active as possible with my socials, engaging with customers, creating real friendships. That's like the coolest thing about the business is like seeing people wear my jewelry or people coming and like returning. I have people that came to my first pop-up ever that still come, and like we formed a real friendship. And like that's the most surreal thing, is that I've made so many friends out of strangers. And like they were customers at first, but now they're just like true friends that come and support me. I also did PR and gifting, which is important sometimes in business. People with a following, sometimes they purchase my product and it helps business a lot. Or, you gift them stuff. So I've had like Kristen Titus has bought my jewelry. I have like Princess May, which is Bretman Rock's sister, just like different, influencers, or you can say, with a following, and they just post it organically. Really, I haven't ever like paid anyone to do anything. They just, if they believe in your product, they'll share it. And so I've really been fortunate enough to have that have happened as well. Keeping organized and up to date, which is something like you're constantly doing. Like, it's just an everyday thing, just trying to keep up to date with things. I also upgraded my jewelry quality as well as mastering my product. So my product is it's the same product as it was in the beginning, but it's elevated, it's gotten better, it's been improved. I'm using better quality like jewelry. I've also like realized at first I was kind of dipping them not too thick, but then I realized like local girls or Hawaii girls, they go in the water with it and it's like a real flower, right? So I realized I have to dip it more. So just stuff like that I was learning and have continuously tweaked to make the product what it is now. So yeah, focusing on quality of my product and service, and then also shifting my mindset to like the invest in your business mindset. Because obviously when I was really young, like small, or like when I was in the first months of starting up, like I would buy like chains in like 20 to 50 pieces, right? Which then I was selling those 20 chains like immediately, and I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to order more chains. So I was kind of like always behind or trying to play catch up. But shifting that mindset where now I'm buying like 300 plus chains in at a time because I have to think ahead, right? And like, I'm not gonna sell all those tomorrow, right? But you never wanna like be behind for business. So that's something that I had to shift my mindset to. You have to invest more in order to, you know, for the more successful turnout. And like at first too, I bought like my business cards. I think I ordered like 50. And everyone was like 50. Like my dad was like, I need 30 of those, 50. So I was like, left me with 20, right? And I was like, oh, that's so true. But now I order them like quite literally in like the thousands because it's better to be over prepared than under in business for sure. So shifting that mindset is also really important. Here's some like the different places that I pop up. So I've sold in Anthropology, Arvo Cafe, Lululemon. My main market on island every month is the Malama Makers Market. I've sold at Kahala, Art and Flea, different hotels in Waikiki. So super cool opportunities. And so that's kind of from then to now, kind of, or from my 1 year in business. So from like July 2024 to July 2025. So once I knew business was growing, it was legit. This became my full-time passion and job. I then had even bigger goals. So my goal for this year was to be in the Ho'omau market, which takes place in July, and the Made in Hawaii Festival. So I'll talk about Made in Hawaii first because it's kind of the bigger market that I'm sure you guys might know more of. So I dreamt about being part of this market, and it's the 31st annual market. There's like 70,000 plus in attendance to this market. So huge market. It's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's about 700 plus booths and vendors. It's the Hawaii Convention Center, and it's for Hawaii businesses. So like their requirement is that your product has to be at least like 50% made in Hawaii. So it's for businesses that are like made in Hawaii. And I knew that my product would be great for that because my business is like as close to 100% made in Hawaii as it can possibly be. You know, I hand make it here myself. It's like local flowers, right? So other than like my jewelry and stuff that I get in wholesale, it's like made here. It's as close to 100% as it can get. And that's something that I'm really proud of. Like people, when they come up to me and they're like, your business is the definition of made in Hawaii. I'm like, thank you. Like it's really like super cool that it is. Because when you're having a big business too, like sometimes they manufacture elsewhere and have it here. You have to do what you do for your business, but to have my product all made here, handmade, it's cool. So I knew I met that requirement like ×2, right? And so, but Made in Hawaii is extremely competitive. There's 700 vendors that are at the market, but that means there's like thousands of businesses that apply. And I'm competing with, like I'm in the spectrum of business, like I'm like at this point in February when I apply, I'm like 8 months into business, so I'm still so small, and I'm competing with like Noms Candy, that's like in Foodland, Waiakea Water. I'm like competing against like Fighting Eel, has so many stores, right? So my business is like really small, but at the same time, there's still businesses that are probably even smaller. But so that competitive, like I'm like thinking in my head like, ooh, yeah, like my chances might be slim. But applications opened in February and I didn't hear back till June. So like that whole time, I'm still doing my normal market schedule because I can't put everything on pause for this market, right? So I'm still doing all my normal markets, but still thinking like, oh my gosh, I might have Made in Hawaii. So while simultaneously doing everything, I'm thinking ahead in a sense, because I also have to have inventory for this extreme of a market. So that was really stressful. And also new vendors, not to mention, so this would be, I'm a new vendor. So the amount of new vendors they accept every year is probably like 12 to 20 So 690 of the businesses there have been there for like 5, 10, 15, or like, maybe that's like their second year, but still like, and then there's some that have been doing it for the whole 30 years. So they have priority. So at the end of the whatever is left, like there's about a dozen slots open for new businesses. So then my chances at that point, I'm like, ooh, I really don't know if I'm gonna get in. And you hear back in that order too. So all my friends that have businesses, they start hearing back in like April and May that they're accepted. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely didn't get in. But they're like, just wait, like new vendors don't get like accepted till the very end. And I was also really active. Like I messaged them on Instagram and like email probably monthly. Like they probably hated me. They knew me by name already. It was like I was bombarding them all the time just because I really wanted to know, especially being a handmade business, these people are prepping like the whole year in advance. So like Made in Hawaii happens in August. They start prepping like the month after for the whole next year. So I already was like, oh, I'm so behind, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen. Then there's also Ho'omau. So Ho'omau, I got accepted in May. So I already knew then before Made in Hawaii that I was gonna be in Ho'omau. And even though Ho'omau is a smaller event, there's about 100 vendors. I think this year there was like 20,000 in attendance. It's a curated market for only like jewelry, fashion, and like accessories. So everyone that was going to be at Ho'omau was like all our like ideal clientele. So Made in Hawaii, you have like there's like dog treats, there's hot sauce, there's like anything you name it, it's being sold at Made in Hawaii. But Ho'omau is really curated. So I also needed a great amount of inventory and stock for that market because everyone that's coming to the market is looking for clothing and jewelry. So I started prepping like crazy. And the Ho'omau's mission and what they prioritize is Hawaii-operated businesses and local vendors who celebrate Hawaiian culture and values, majority being Native Hawaiian owned. So Ho'omau Market happened in July, and a portion of the proceeds from each event are donated to Native Hawaiian nonprofits or organizations that do great work for our Lihue people. There's about 20K in attendance. There was 100 plus vendors, and 90% of them were Native Hawaiian owned. Some of their recipients for like donations and whatnot was Help Maui Rise, Kahuli Leolea, and Ke'u the brand. So here was the event, some photos of my booth. And this was my first ever big market. So other than doing my typical like monthly pop-ups, this was the first time I ever had like a big legitimate setup in in a convention center. It was at the Blaisdell. So just taking that pop-up, my normal pop-ups that I do every month, and like exponentially making it in a bigger stage, So I got lots of new posters and banners, just like marketing stuff. I got posters and banners, everything with like lots of clear photos of my products. I had everything like say real Hawaii flower resin jewelry, because again, a lot of people think it's like glass or like amethyst or something different. So I just really wanted everything to be clean, labeled, lots of photos, organized, and aesthetic as well. So then flash into the next month into Made in Hawaii in August. Because I was messaging them like 24/7 all the time on Instagram, I formed a connection with the lady that ran the Instagram because I bothered her so much. Her name is Olena. She was a past newscaster, I think, here in Hawaii, and she's just like a social media personnel here in Hawaii. And so she started to realize my company and was intrigued by it, luckily. So me being annoying, honestly, like got her to see my business and product. So, and then she invited me, so we're communicating and whatnot, and she was really helpful. So I would message her like every month, like, hey, do you know when new vendors find out when they get accepted? She's like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. She actually even told me like the day it went out, she was like, hi, like, sweetie, the emails just went out, check your email. So she like told me about like my acceptance before I even got accepted. So it was like cool that we like had that relationship. And she was like really nice to me at that point because she knew how like desperate and how much I wanted it. That she even then was like, hey, I actually have like a question too. Like, we're doing a news feature for the festival in August. Like, would you want to be invited and share your business on the news and represent the festival? I was like, immediately yes. And she said, well, it has to go up to Made in Hawaii first, and I have to get approved by the higher ups. So she went ahead and did that, and they officially accepted me and invited me to come on to Hawaii News Now and represent the festival. So I was chosen out of all these businesses. So out of like the 700 plus businesses, like I was luckily like the one that they chose to represent the festival. And they only do about, I don't know how many of these news channel things they do, but they do maybe like 3 or 4 during the week of the festival just to promote the festival. So yeah, I was representing the festival as a first-time vendor, and that's also cool. She wanted like a new business, something that was different to represent the festival on the news. So yeah, that was another like really big like wow, the pinch me moment. I have never been on the news in Hawaii for that before. So here's I'll play like a quick little segment of it. I don't know if it's gonna play.
Welcome back, everybody.
Okay.
The Made in Hawaii Festival is kicking off this Friday over at the Hawaii Convention Center. We have 2 vendors in the studio with us to showcase their amazing work. Now, we have Lexee here first, and Made by Lexee with Lexee Mele Aloha Howes.
Correct.
Right? Okay, so tell us a bit about your business.
So I'm Lexee Mele Aloha Howes, and my business here on Oahu is Made by Lexee. I make real Hawaii flower resin jewelry. So all our local flowers that I grow, pick, preserve, and emboss in resin.
So you grow these too?
I do. At the very beginning, I grew all of them. Now I have family and friends that help me, of course. But yeah, so I do plumeria, orchid, crown flower. I also do pua keni keni, hibiscus, anthurium. Anything you want, I've got. I make necklace, earrings, rings, bracelets, accessories. And yeah, everything's handmade by me.
So beautiful. That's amazing. How did you get into like kind of doing this?
Just being like a local girl here picking flowers, Hapa Hawaiian. So I grew up picking flower, making lei, and for hula, whatever you name it. And I saw it on Instagram and TikTok. Honestly, it was a trendy thing. Like every girl, right? I'm on TikTok, and I was like, oh, this would be a genius idea. Here in Hawaii, on Oahu, never seen it before. So I've been very lucky to kind of trendset the theme of real flower jewelry here.
Oh, amazing. With a Hawaii, of course, a Hawaii flavor twist. Yes. I love it. Okay, let's get...
Yeah, so that was cool to share my business and story. And also, I'm still really new at this point, right? So it's August. I'm a year and a month or 2 into business. So to be on the news and to share the business, it helped to gain customers, attraction, show them that I'll be at the festival and have them come to my booth as well. So Made in Hawaii Festival. Made in Hawaii raised $30,000 in donations to the Hawaii Food Bank and the Food Basket through donations from event goers and matches from the festival and the Surfco Foundation. I brought about 500 pieces. So typically I usually bring like 100 pieces to a pop-up. So every week I try to make like 40 to 50 pieces and have like a good amount for my pop-ups for people to choose from. For Made in Hawaii, I knew I wanted like at least 500, right? And so I brought probably 500, and it was so awesome and insane. I sold probably close to about 400 of the pieces. Like I was sold out on necklaces and certain items. So it made me realize, I was like, wow, like I really should have brought like 1,000 pieces, right? And so I was thinking like how much I want to prepare if I'm there for years to follow. So it was a really cool experience. It was so exhausting and chaotic. Again, it's 3 days. It's a 3-day event, and the market's from like 10 to 6 p.m. or like 10 to 8 p.m. So we were there 24/7. I had like 4 or 5 of us working. I was making jewelry still like in the back. Like I didn't even check people out because I was making product to then like put out and sell. So it was so chaotic, but it was the most fulfilling and rewarding. And it was kind of like it was like, okay, like I feel like I made it. Like business is legit. Like it was kind of that point where I was like, my business is legit because I'm now in a room full of like other insanely successful businesses. So that was really cool. Here's just more pictures from the market, just showing my setup. These are all like my flowers that I prepped. And I forget, can I go back? or I don't know. But I had a friend or two help me. So it was summer, right? So I had some friends that were in town. So luckily I had one or two friends that were like willing to learn how to resin. I was like, please, I'm so desperate. I need inventory, because that was my biggest issue, was inventory, of course. And I knew it was like, I knew I wouldn't be satisfied with just doing it on my own. So I had to teach a couple of friends to do it because I really needed help. I even taught my boyfriend. I was like, look, we need a flower. Like, I was like, please, we just need flowers. So I was really grateful to have some friends and whatnot to help me create stock and inventory. Here's my booth. It's a 10 by 10, and it goes like, when there's 70,000 people coming around and just in the convention, like 10 by 10 is not a lot of space. So you have to be like really smart about it. I'm even planning, like, it's a big investment, but next year I'm like, if I'm back at the market, I'm like, I need 2 booths. Like, it's worth it because I'm investing in that. And space is crucial for everyone to shop. And yeah, there's my dad and boyfriend. They help with everything. They're like the muscle in my business. Everything that I need, they create everything. So yeah, from business to my passion. So my jewelry has a purpose and a story, and you can take a piece of Hawaii with you everywhere you go. It's also jewelry that makes you feel confident. Like, that's something that's like really cool, is when people are like, they come back because they're like, your jewelry makes me feel so confident. Like, I got so many compliments on it that like, I want another piece, right? So that's really cool to hear. I found my passion. So it was a business that then turned into my passion, and it's inspired by my culture and home. And I'm also able to start creating a future for myself in Hawaii, and creating a community of supporters. That's, again, like I said, like, that's just the most insane thing, is that I'm having these customers that are now like friends that I know would be lifelong friends. I'm also supporting local as well. So like, now having a business, I support local more than ever too. Like, I find the importance of supporting all the other local vendors around me as well, and giving back as well in the ways that I do, and participating in events specifically focused on donating to local causes and organizations. So all the markets that I'm a part of do just that, and they align with my mission and purpose in business as well. So just some important lessons or things from today. Find something that you're 100% passionate about and 100% enjoy. Like, I think that's key. You can work as hard in your business if you think that it's going to be successful in a sense, but I think the reason my business has grown how it is right now, it's not because I knew it would be successful, but it's because it's something I'm passionate about and that I'm 100% enjoy and committed to. Research, like, that's key. Like, I'm constantly always researching or asking people for questions, like for help. So if I need something, like, I'm always asking like my dad and Chris, like, he has a business as well. So I'm always asking like, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Like, how do I do my LLC? Like, stuff like that, because also textbook can be a little different than like real world experience. So I went to school for it and I learned it, but now I'm actually like, I'm implementing it, and it's different because I'm getting the real world experience. So I'm relearning it all, or touching back on things I learned, but applying it now in the real world. Trial and error. So everything about my business has been trial and error. Like, everything. I was trying, certain flowers. So for my product, I would have to dry it a certain way, and then they'd come out brown. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to redo it. Like, just keep trying and figuring out different things. Taking risks and challenging yourself, putting yourself out there, emailing anyone and everyone. Like I said, I still do. If I'm like wanting to be a part of a market, I'm like, hi, do you guys accept vendors? Like, I would love to be a part of this market. And like, I've got told no. Actually, Malama market, the main market I do, like, I didn't get accepted when I applied to her, like back in July, because at that time I probably had like 400 followers and like really wasn't established. But now I've been with them for like the year now, and it's been awesome. But just putting yourself out there and just emailing anyone and everyone, because you never know if they'll invite you or have you. And then being consistent and 100% and putting your best foot forward at all times. So just working 100%. I'm really happy and grateful to have this business and give it my all. When I graduated from school, I just was like, I'm gonna go 100% into this. I'm not gonna like focus on anything. I'm just gonna try and open this business 100% and be consistent. And also, yeah, putting my best foot forward. I pride myself. My main focus is to give people a product that I'm 100% committed and I'm 100% sure of. Like people spend their hard-earned money on my jewelry, right? So my priority is my customers and my community, because I want you folks to have something that you enjoy and you love as well. So yeah, here's my Instagram, Made by Lexee. Feel free to reach out to me. You can always ask me any questions. Super happy and grateful to be here and share with you guys. Hope it was insightful or you took something away. And literally feel free to always DM me, talk to me, whatever you want. But yeah, that's all for today.
Now we're open to questions. So if you have questions for Lexee, you can decide for you to ask her.
We'll start right here, front row.
Since you mentioned that you did Made in Hawaii, and I was aware that you did that, congrats on that.
Thank you.
That's a big feat. But as a kind of new business, how expensive was it for you to kind of be a vendor at Made in Hawaii, if you can share that?
Yeah. So for Made in Hawaii, it's standard. So it's all goes by a 10 by 10 space. So if you want one 10 by 10 space, it varies depending on if you want it like an inside booth, a corner booth. But for the 3-day event, it's $1,200 just for that 10 by 10. So if you divide that by 3, it's $400 a day. And so it's a good investment because you're having 70,000 plus people come in, right? So you're hoping at least you'd make the 400 for that day, right? But yeah, so it goes by that. So a 10 by 10 starts at like 1,200, but you want a corner booth, like it racks up quick. Like corner booth is easily probably like $2,000 or something. But for a basic booth in it, one of the booths it starts at about like 12,000. And the typical market, if I do like a market like Ala Moana or something like that, my typical markets, it's not free to do a market, but you pay. So for a typical market, it's about $150 to $200 to like pop up at like Ala Moana or something. But for Made in Hawaii, that was that. So some booths if people are buying like 3 booths, or they're buying, like I know some businesses like Fighting Eel is a really big business, but they bought like probably like 6 to 8 booths. You pay for each 10 by 10, so 8 times your 1,200. Yeah, so it's an investment.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
For your first market being Malama Makers Market, was that like a good choice for you, considering like if you're recently started and it's like 150 to 200, is it financially good?
So the first market I did in July, I wasn't even accepted into any markets yet. Like I wasn't even accepted yet. I had a friend that also has a small business here. Her name's Maya. Her business is Hibiscus Club. She was the one that actually like told me, she invited me. She's like, oh, I'm doing a market. I know you're just starting out. This was when I was like 2 weeks into business. She was like, come to the market. You can try it out and see how it is. So I did that one under her for free. But once I got into so that kind of helped me get my foot in the door and like established to do a market. But for my paid ones with like Malama and everything like that, yes, it was extremely worth it. Like it is an investment to do it. But that was the route I wanted to go. Like I knew I wanted to sell in markets. And the good thing about some of those markets, like from Malama, for instance, it's curated. They have a great following. So like Malama has probably close to 40,000 followers. And some of the other markets too, like they all have at least like 20 to 40,000 followers. So she's bringing in a lot of foot traffic, right? So people are coming to the market specifically to shop local, to support local, because they follow her page and they know that who's there. So she'll post you like, you pay for this, right? And you pay $200, right? But she'll post you, she'll advertise you. People will see your page. Like when I was starting out, a lot of people came to my booth being like, oh, I saw Malama posted you. Like I came because it was on the Instagram, So it's almost like they're giving you promo, they're giving you traction, and then they're giving you sales, So it kind of works like that, where you invest into the market, but the market also is curated. And especially Malama, it's a curated market. So all the vendors there are mainly like not food, but jewelry, arts and crafts, stuff like that, like pottery. It's more curated. So it's not like food and, there's some markets that are more of like a mix, but Malama specifically is really curated. So people that are going there are shopping again for jewelry and art. So, other questions? Yes.
So seems like you're very passionate and confident from the very beginning of your entrepreneurship journey. And of course you should be, because it's a beautiful business.
Thank you.
You should be very proud. But were there any times where you were like worried or like scared, or you wanted to like take a step back?
Mm-hmm.
And if you did, how did you overcome those?
Yeah. So the months leading up to making my product, like again, I was making so much product that wasn't going to anyone yet, right? It wasn't sold yet. So I was doing all this and investing all my time. Again, I moved home. I was making product with the hope that it would sell. So leading up into it, I was extremely doubtful, because I was making something, I was starting a business that literally wasn't even selling yet, right? So that was really, really scary, knowing that I'm just doing this full force, no plan yet, was really like scary. And I kind of was worried for a minute as well. But over time I overcame it, because I stayed consistent. I posted all the time. I showed up to markets. I showed up to markets when I made like one sale. You know, I had the bad markets. Like I've had a market where I quite literally only had one sale, you know? So I've had the bad markets, but you have to show up and do it in order to have the markets where it's a sellout, you know? So I stuck through with it. I still showed up. I did it every month, good month or bad month, you know? But it was all a part of the process to continuously grow it. And yeah. Yeah.
What do you have any ideas? Like, I don't know if you might be asking, but do you have any ideas of like what your next steps are going to be, or like what your next big idea?
Yeah, just continuously growing it, growing my inventory, growing my media, my social media following, just doing exactly what I'm doing, but just try and grow it even more. I have some business friends around me too that are like, you just have to be consistent. Like it could blow up on TikTok, or, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And it's already growing at a good rate where the community is starting to realize it and know what it is. And it's like, oh, like she's the flower jewelry girl. So that's really cool. But next step is just continue doing everything I'm doing, but just even on a greater scale, like do Made in Hawaii again, but get 2 booths and like bring 1,000 pieces, you know? So that's kind of my goal and mindset in the sense of what I want to do next. It's like only a year and 4 months or something in business. So still really small business, or still really new business. So just continuously growing it more is my plan.
Would you ever consider going into like little stores, I guess? Or is there a reason why you haven't yet, or would you not?
Yeah, so for me, my business is like Made by Lexee, right? My favorite part is going to the markets, because I could grow my business online, or I could sell it to like stores, right? And have them sell my product. But half of it for me is like, I love coming to the market and selling my jewelry. Like it's not made by Sarah, you know, it's made by Lexee. Like I want to show face. I want them to know that like I make their piece myself, share my story, share about like, I'm like the most passionate about it more than anyone else, right? So to me, like sharing it is the big part of reason why I love doing it. And for my market, so a lot of the time for stores, the deal is usually typically a 50-50 split. So the store gets 50% and the maker gets 50%. And when it's handmade, like that's kind of hard, just because I'm not willing to sacrifice 50% of my product, you know? And so I focus on strictly doing my markets, because if I can bring all these people that want to buy my jewelry and they'll come to my market and support me, that's kind of the route I want to go. I do have a store that I do sell some stuff in, and I've tried it. I've kind of like dipped my feet in it and tried it, but there's a high enough demand now for my product where it's just, I want people to come to my market, and I'm ready keeping up with my inventory at like as much as I can. So I'd rather them come to my market and do that. And when you think about it too, like it just depends on what you're selling and whatnot, but people always ask me, they're like, oh, what is your next step? Open a store or whatever. But markets, in a sense, like for business, the markets are honestly probably like the cheapest route you can go, like investment-wise or like I don't have to pay a store rent or something like that. So it's kind of like the smarter route for me to go, and kind of what I'm focused on is build a bigger clientele that will come to my market itself, like exclusively.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Knowing what you know now, I mean, obviously you're only 1 year and a couple months in, but is there anything major that I guess you picked up that like, if you started right now that you will do differently?
Something that if I started now, I would do differently. Like if I had to restart right now at this age. Well, touching back, so I went to school for business, right? And I'm really grateful for those 4 years because I kind of like, some people need the like college years to still grow and learn, right? Like you're learning school, but for me, it was also like a growth thing. So I started it in July, so I was 22. I needed the 4 years of college. Like I was still really, really young. Even at 22, like I didn't know what I was doing. I'm 23 and I still don't know what I'm doing, right? But if I had started now, honestly, no, I don't think I would change anything. I think everything happened kind of how it had to happen. I know more now and I'm educated more now, so I think I would probably, yeah, that's a hard one. No, I don't think I would change things. I think I would do it the exact same because, yeah, I think I would do it the same. Yeah. Yes.
Do you normally keep a lot of inventory, or it's more like people ordered it and you made it?
Yeah, so for online, everything's somewhat made to order. So it is made to order, but at pop-ups and whatnot, I bring a selection of different things. So I'll have like 10 white, 10 purple, 10 plumeria, 10, I'll have a good assortment of things and variety for people to choose from. And then I kind of pull from that stock to create for online orders, or I fulfill online orders like made to order. So it's hard. Having a handmade business is hard because you're constantly making stuff. It's, some people think it could be the not as smart route because they're like, they have something to manufacture, but it comes with like, I tend to disagree because I hand make something. So I'm like, no, it can be just as successful and great if it's handmade. But yeah, it's a lot. Like the inventory is the biggest issue. It was really great when I had my friends help me for Made in Hawaii, and it kind of like sparked my interest. I was like, maybe I do need to hire, maybe I have someone help me, because again, it's an investment. If I have someone help me, then I don't just have 40 pieces a week, I have 100 pieces, and that's even more product that I can get out there, right? And then I'm not so behind, but it's just finding routine. So typically I will fulfill, or I'll resin about like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I have my pop-ups, or I assemble on Friday, because I still have to assemble the jewelry after it resins. Then I'll do markets Saturday, Sunday, and I'll fulfill online orders like Sunday, Monday. So if an order comes in on Tuesday, usually I don't work on it till the Sunday after, but it's noted on my website. I'm like, it's handmade. They know it's handmade, so I'm like, it's handmade. Waiting time will be 7 to 15 days. It's just what it is. And I try to, if I have something in stock and they order today, maybe their order will go out tomorrow. It just depends what I have in inventory. But if it don't, then maybe it just kind of waits a couple of days, Because I can't, if I get an order today and I have a market tomorrow and someone orders something, I might save that product to sell for the market because I have that market coming up and I need to have enough stuff to sell at the market as well. So online, it's a little bit of more of a waiting time, but they know that they're waiting for something that's handmade, I think, most of the time. I usually don't have too many issues, so that's awesome. Yes.
I know you kind of just said your schedule, but
Mm-hmm.
In terms of work-life balance, how do you kind of would you say it's really good, or was it
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. Yeah. There was no work-life balance in the beginning. When I moved home in May, I actually moved home with my dad, so I was living at home. I prepped for a couple months, right? There was no work-life balance. It was make jewelry quite literally every single day. I didn't go to the beach for 4 months, It was I made my website every day. There was not much work-life balance in the beginning. And then it was to the point where I was like, okay, I need to go outside and touch grass, I need to see the sun. I need to do something fun. So I slowly incorporated having my normal routine and things. And it's as little as Like I find enjoyment in going to Target now. You know, like it's like little things like, do I go hang out? Do I have a sleepover with my friends? No. Like it's realistically like I prioritize my business still more, you know, and not that I prioritize my business over my friends. I'm not saying that, but it's just like the amount of time I have. So if I have 2 hours for dinner, like I'm like, that's great. It's so awesome, but I still have to then get home and work, you know? And I will say I'm hard on myself about it and I'm pretty strict about it, but I think it's just because I'm still growing it. It's still really new. So I'm finding a better balance, but I'm still in the hustle phase, I feel like. So, but I would say like now, I was talking to them earlier, I was kind of like, I didn't really have like an identity for the first couple months, but now I'm like definitely back to myself because I enjoy it so much too, that I'm like, I've found myself kind of like in a new version or a new era. So I enjoy the balance for sure. And I'm balanced now. I feel like I am balanced. Yeah.
Thank you guys for asking questions.
I have a question. Hi, Lexee, I'm Steve.
Oh my gosh, that's my dad.
What would you say to someone that is ready, is wanting, willing, and able to start something, embark on a journey of entrepreneurship, but doesn't have an idea or a product or a service yet to offer? What would you tell that person?
I think it's key to find exactly what you want to do first. I would say, I'm really happy that I was able to find exactly the product that I knew. Like I said, when I stumbled upon the trend of real flower jewelry, it was quite literally like light bulb went off. I was like, that's the business. And I believed in it from that second. Before that, I wasn't even, like there was no website planning. I didn't really know, I didn't have any business plans lined up until I had the idea. But that's kind of how my brain works. Like everyone has a different process. Like, you know, we all have our own different process of how we kind of like go about things. For me, like I needed the idea first. So once I then found my idea, so honestly, my answer to that is like, I think you have to find exactly what you want your business to be. Because if you aren't exactly sure about what you're wanting to create or sell or be in, it almost makes everything else, like you feel like you're not doing it 100% yet, you know, because you don't know what you're doing it for. Or you're trying to create other, you're trying to like figure out all the components and all the other missing pieces, but it's almost like you don't even have the center backbone or the focus of it all. So I would say if you're struggling on to find what your concept is or your product or your idea, I think you just have to continue researching for it. Like I said, I was researching for the 2 months in college. I think it was pretty quick just because I honestly procrastinated all that time from college where I was like, okay, now I have to create something and figure something out. So it was almost a little procrastinated, but I would say take the time to just keep researching, figure it out what you want to create and sell. Then from there, you can 100% full on continue growing that and like morphing that idea into something. I would say that just was the route I went. But again, it could be different. You could be creating it all simultaneously and you're almost done. And then at the end, you're like, oh, that's what I want to create. But the route my brain works is kind of like very like I kind of am an A, B, C, D, E, F, G type of a person that I needed the concept first. So I would say that just put the time in to find exactly what you want the business to be. And like I said before, I was thinking of selling multiple things. Like I was like, I'm gonna sell pottery and jewelry and da-da-da-da. And it was like 6 or 7 different things I wanted to sell. But I was like, no, I really need to hone in and find one thing. So I think that's important too, is you want your business to not be too, like, I don't know what the word is, but you kind of want to have a specific niche that you follow in because you want to be 100% committed and like into that one thing, right? And give all your time to that one thing. So I kind of knocked everything off to focus on one product. That's just my route. I don't know, everyone can do it different. You know, that's the cool thing about being an entrepreneur. There's like no right or wrong. It's just all experimental. Yay, thanks friends.